Hello, my name is Amin. On previous videos, we have talked about the various layers required to build the fintech. We have talked about the app layer, and now we're talking about the infrastructure layer. So from the infrastructure layer, you have various components, and today we're going to talk about the open banking component. As we talked about, the infrastructure layer is basically the layer that allows you to serve your microservices to your app. And you, via your app, you deliver your services to your users. Now, this layer has many components. It has 4 components, and I think with the new innovations around the infrastructure, we'll have even bigger components, such as CBDC, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. Now let's talk about the main components here. One of the main components is open banking. What is open banking? In very simple form, is the ability to connect to a banking ledger. So your startup will be able to connect to a bank and work with that bank in order to offer its services via the app that will be used for this fintech. First main thing that fintechs today are connecting on is the open banking infrastructure. Many fintechs that have basically a better user experience or a specific product, they would use an infrastructure from an existing bank, and this is called neo-banking applications. And these are basically banks that operate with the infrastructure of an existing bank in order to offer certain service, okay? Or they use a service provider that has the infrastructure, the open banking infrastructure required to offer the service. So open banking is nothing more than you coming up with an app, you find an open banking service provider, and you basically connect to their system, and you're able to offer their infrastructure service via your app. This is a very simple type of application. Huge problem with these open banking or apps that are built in top of the open banking infrastructure of a third-party bank is that they have a very high consumer acquisition cost, which makes things a little bit more complicated for them to basically be profitable, etc. But it's a very easy process. You basically build an app, you onboard with an open banking service or banking as a service provider, and you basically plug in your app there and you distribute it around your user base, okay? So you have some fintechs that do this. They do it, some of them do it well, and they are very innovative from a UX perspective, because here they're not using any type of innovation around the infrastructure, okay? In next video, we'll be talking about the PSD2 and what are the opportunities around the PSD2.